Hi everyone, I hope that you're doing great. I'm on fire as usual. First of all, Happy New Year 2021. I wish you best things in this year. But let's start with our first video of the year, which is about one of the most useful types in Swift programming, which is the result type. Let's dive right into it. Okay, here we are at Visual Studio Code, still on Windows for these short and Swift videos. First, before going to the result type, let's quickly see the precursor or what was there before result type. It's still there in Swift, but we'll see that in my point of view, result types are much better than the exceptions, which we're gonna see here. So what do we have here? We have a custom error type. You can use, of course, an existing one or any error types that you like with two error values. And there we have a method or a function that returns a string depending on the value of this parameter. When it's successful, it returns a string. But when the parameter is nil or false, we return one of these two errors. For this to work, for exceptions to work, so when there is an error, we need to throw it, and we also need to declare the function as throwable, so throws. So these are the conditions for working for returning an exception. So it's just an error with custom keywords. So first of all, as you can see, exceptions require new keywords to be used. Next, in order to catch exceptions, or in other words, call code that can return exceptions and handle the error cases, we can go here and see that the condition is to write a do catch block, what we call a do try catch block. So we try to run the method that throws. If the method is successful, the message is directly put inside the variable. But if this line fails, we enter either this catch block. We can never enter this catch block, but we do it for the sake of clarity and just in case. Okay, let's just quickly run this method. We have nil, so normally we should have a nil parameter. Let's just run it. Yes, as you can see here, the catch block works fine. So what's the problem with this type of code? Is that it's counterintuitive compared to guard statements, because here the error handling or the exception handling is done after the useful code, and also the useful code is inside the block, which is counterintuitive compared to guard blocks. That's one inconvenient for using exceptions. So let's see the alternative, which are result types right now. Okay, here we are back again, but now we have opened the result type file, which shows the same example that we used earlier with exceptions, but using the result type. Let's see the differences. First of all, we can see that we use the same error type as earlier, which is great. But here we can see the differences. First of all, the function now does not throw anything, but it returns the result type. So it's like a combination of, it's an enumeration that combines two types, the type in case of success and the type in case of failure. So the result type is just an enumeration which takes two types as parameter, the type in case of success and the type in case of failure, or in other words, exception. So in case of success, we have a string. In case of error or failure, we have a custom error. The throwing, so we don't throw here, it's not an exception, but when we want to return a failure, so we return the dot failure the case of the enumeration, the dot failure enumeration value, and it accepts a parameter, which is the value of the error that we have here. So it is nil parameter. And here, what is interesting here is that we return, we do not throw. So it's there is not new syntax to introduce with the error types in that case. For the other case here, same thing. It's a failure enum value with the invalid parameter passed to the enumeration case. In case of success, here we return .success success. So the difference with exceptions is that here we need to return the success enumeration instead of just returning the string. But in case we can see that we can view it as a good thing, because by reading the code we understand when we want the thing to fail and to succeed. Now to the run main function. Here we call the do something function by passing a parameter, but here we don't need to try anything or write a do try block. In fact, the message type, the message variable, sorry, will have a result type. So it's an enumeration, which can be either failure or success. As we'll see quickly later, it can be used. It's used as an enumeration, classic Swift enumeration. So let's try this out to see what is displayed on the console when we run this with true parameter. It means that we should return this value, because that row is not equal to false. Okay, let's try that out. Let's run this. Indeed, we have failure, which with the result type that custom error, that invalid parameter. And you see here it's the failure case of enumeration. Let's return a success value. Here, try again, and here you see that the enumeration has a value of success. The message variable has a value of success. The associated value is the string, because here we said that it's a string, and here we return a string. So it's starting from this point, it's classic Swift enumeration with associated values. So no new thing to learn as compared to exceptions, because starting from this point, it's a Swift enumeration. And before closing this video, let me show you one quick thing that we can do to get the useful value, the success value, or the error value. So one way to do this is to use a switch statement. So switch message case dot failure. So here we can do it in the order that we want. We can also use a guard statement, but let's use a case statement for the sake of the example, and maybe in another video we'll explore other ways of processing a result type when it's returned from a method. So let error, okay. And here we can print so error, and print the error value. Break this. Okay, case dot success let value. So here we can print the success, the value of success value, like this value. So it's a Swift enumeration. That's what's interesting with this break, sorry. And let's try this with this modification. So here we print the row enumeration, so the row results type, but here we do some more fine control, some more refined processing. So in this first case we get the error in a variable, and here we isolate the value in another variable in case of success. Of course, you can do it with a guard statement to, if you want to have a success code outside of without indentation, sorry. So without indentation, you can use guard statement, but it's one of the many options that we have. That's really great. Okay, let's run this. As you can see here, the success value is success. Let's try just one last time to pass nil value. So we should go here, and we have the enumeration here, nil parameter. So here you go. Here is a very quick look at the result type. So to summarize, it's a better way to, for me, I think it's a better way to handle errors. It's also very useful when you have a method that returns in asynchronous processing. It's really good way to return to have just a result returned instead of having success block, failure block, and this kind of stuff. So having just one value that handles both success and failure. It has many uses, so I really encourage you to use this result type as much as you can. Thanks for watching and see you later. Bye bye.